Hello, hello. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I am joined by Mr. Matt Kamp from DealMachine. Matt is the head of partnerships at DealMachine. I've been using this app for a little under a year now. And what I really like about DealMachine is it makes it really easy to go driving for dollars and tracking down sellers and getting deals. And so I wanted to get Matt on here today because I started working with DealMachine to get you guys on this platform and show you how to get deals with DealMachine. So Matt, please take it away and tell us what DealMachine is.
Yeah, and Vanna, really appreciate you having us on in general. I really enjoy, speaking to your audience like this. We've had you on our channels before, and you always put out fantastic stuff. So we're definitely a fan of everything you're working
Matt,
on.
please.
Yeah, no problem. And I think, DealMachine in general. So it's quite literally our company mission, like our officially stated mission, to give the power of real estate investing to everyone. So that is our goal, is to give you all technology saying, hey, how do you get out there? How do you go out and find, buy right, find a really, good deal by going direct to seller. And, it means going off market. It means building your own original list of leads that no one else has. And, we kind of give you two different options to do that. We're more known for our driving for dollars as being the way to go out there and build that list and be able to create a list of leads that are less competitive because they're off market and because they're properties that you or a driver have gone and actually found yourself, and are physically distressed properties, which that is the number one indicator that somebody is in a situation where you can come in and solve a problem for them and they may be looking to sell. So I'd say driving for dollars is what we're known for most. We also have a list building tool as well, where you can go in and you can use our full suite of data. You can use the MLS data that we provide. You can use, county record data, go in there and actually pull a list of properties and say like, hey, show me all the properties that, are high equity and, absentee owned and, blah, blah, blah. You can get really, really specific on the area, the block, or the type of data around that property. So, we want to give you the tools to, one way or the other, make it just really simple, really easy to get out there, create a list of motivated sellers that no one else has, meaning that it's going to be less competitive, and then give you the resources to easily reach out to those people, inquire about properties, and start doing deals.
Awesome. Yeah. So DealMachine is a tool. It's an app on your phone, right? And there's also a desktop version that people can use to find sellers that haven't hit the market yet and have that opportunity and advantage to get deals for themselves off the market before other people have gotten them.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, and really, like you said, I mean, we're mobile first, so I mean, we know that people are out, in the field whenever they're talking to sellers and looking for properties and things. I know we're really proud to say we're the highest rated mobile app for real estate investors out there. We've had actually at this point over 4,000 reviews between the App Store and the Google Play Store. I think that's one of our key differentiators out there, is that we're the highest reviewed. We're 4.8 out of 5 in terms of ratings. And then we're always evolving the app. Like I know today, I mentioned the MLS data piece. That's a brand new evolution for us. Literally every other week, we put out a new update for this technology. So we have a full development team that is listening to you guys and trying to find, hey, how do we just make it simpler? How do we give people a really easy process to follow, so that way they can have, a little, very, very little real estate experience, come in, make it very easy to understand what to do right away, what process to follow, how to start going off market to find properties and buy right, and just give them the technology that guides them through that process and makes it really simple and easy to use no matter where they are.
That's awesome. That's a really great overview, Matt. And do you have a demo for us? I know maybe you can show us what the platform looks like and how people can start using it and what the first steps are with DealMachine.
Yeah, happy to. I can jump into this and kind of show that process, and really the process and the features I'll show you today are based on our most successful investors. I mean, we've had something like 120, 130 videos on our YouTube channel now of us interviewing people who have used DealMachine, have landed deals using DealMachine, and have kind of asked them, what did they do? What was their process? What's working for them? So a lot of what I talk about within this demo is based on that, and saying like, hey, here's what the top people that are actually landing deals every day using this app. Here's what they're doing to be able to be successful. So
Awesome.
I'll jump in here. Feel free, Vanna, to ask specific questions if I'm flying through things too quickly. But I know, just a quick overview. You've kind of got up here is your navigation. So you've got, Drive tab, which is our Drive for Dollars option that I touched on. I'll dive into that first. The leads tab. So every time you add a property to your list of leads of potentially motivated sellers, that lives here, and that's the view you're seeing right now. You've got list builder, which is our list pooling option that I mentioned as well, and then selling and mail. So I'll go through each of those here for you. I know the drive tab right here, when you click on that, you'll start to see all of these black dots pop up around you. And each of those are properties that you can literally just click on that property, see, is it corporate owned? Is it absentee owned? What is the ownership status of this property? Is it vacant? Foreclosure? What's the particular status of this property? And then when you click on that particular property, you'll see the card come up where it'll tell you, hey, here are the county records around sale date and price, assessed value, and bed, bath, year build, square footage. You can really kind of see, this one's a multifamily. You can see, all of the data you need to know about that particular property right there, and just tap to add the lead right on the spot. So, when you would use this and how you would use this is if you pull this up on the mobile app, and you'll see that blue pin pop up, meaning I added that lead to my list. If you use this in the mobile app, you jump right into DealMachine. It'll lock onto your location. You start driving. Oh,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No worries. Got a lot going on. You can lock onto your location. It'll show you all these black dots pop out around you, and you can just start adding leads around you. Where if you're driving around your neighborhood and you see these fixer-upper properties, like a property that has anything from really obvious signs like a tarp on the roof, or gutters falling off, or boarded up windows, things like that, or even less obvious things like overgrown grass, or an overstuffed mailbox, or a window AC unit, like things like that, just to show, hey, it's not fully updated, it's not being kept up with, for whatever reason this property owner just is not able to keep up with the physical appearance of this particular property. Again, that is the number one indicator that they might be a potentially motivated seller. So as you drive around, you'll see these black dots pop up around you. You just start adding those leads right there. You'll see if there's a blue dot, which you can see a couple of these pop up. Those are the ones that are already on market or have recently sold. So they have a recent transaction on the MLS. So you'll know if you're driving around, I would not add those properties, because those properties, have been sold already, or, they're already on market. And the whole goal with this is to go direct to the seller before it hits the market.
Yeah. And Matt, this right here is my favorite thing about DealMachine, as it is, I'm sure, the whole reason why we use it is that when you're going through your neighborhood and that there's a house that you've been eyeing forever and ever, and it looks abandoned, it definitely looks run down, like doesn't look like anyone ever goes there. And so it makes it really easy to just open DealMachine and tag that house so that you can come back to it later, and you can go through this user interface on the phone where it shows you the owner name, when they bought it, how much equity they have. Sometimes it will even show that it's vacant, and that makes it really easy to spot those hot leads, right? That's what I really 100%. Like about that.
Yeah, and I think one of the top pro tips of the features here is the highlights button. So if you click it right here, you'll see that pop up where you can see, you can either create your own highlight and get really specific on, using all these different pieces of data to show you something on, in terms of pre-foreclosed, or if it's been on the market, or a variety of different criteria. Or you can use our quick list right here where you said, yeah, let me see all the vacant properties in this area. And as you select that filter, you'll see, okay, these boxes pop up. And those will show you the properties that are categorized as vacant, and the ones that are that fit your particular criteria. That's going to help you as you drive around, as you identify these properties that just are fixer uppers, if they fit your criteria that you're already looking for. So they're highlighted, and on top of that, they're also physically distressed. That is a really, really hot lead, a really good one to focus on, and can give you a little bit of guidance of where to drive and what leads to add.
That's awesome. Where does this data come from, and how accurate is it?
Yeah, so there are a couple. There's a handful of big providers that most solutions are sourcing the data from. We have a variety of different spots that we're working with. That we don't share like the specific data
I know.
source that we're working with there, but it's all third party data that's validated right there. I mean, the county records. If you click on this, you'll see county records. That's all public information that you can see links to the county record right there, and then we just aggregate all of that information right here. But we've got that going on. We've got the MLS data going. We've got call data. So I can show you kind of the next step in the process here in a minute. But yeah, we've got a variety of different people we're working with for to pull all this in. And we've done a variety of kind of industry testing to benchmark our data versus other options out there, their data. And we're consistently coming up as one of the gold standards in terms of data accuracy. So that's an area we've probably in the last year or two have spent a ton of resources and development work as
Yeah,
well.
that's awesome. I know for me here in Seattle, it'll say like vacant property or what have you, and then it actually does turn out to be vacant. And I'm like, wow, that's so impressive that DealMachine knows.
There
So
you
that's
go.
awesome.
Love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And one thing that's really awesome too, so to show you as well, one other kind of pro tip here, I know you talk about driving around, physically, but we also do have a virtual driving for dollars feature right inside the app too. This is something where, I don't know if you saw, I clicked on this property and just hit the virtual drive button right here, but you'll see, the little orange guy right here popping up. You can click around and actually start to essentially quote unquote click for dollars. You'll want to look at at Google's data to see when they took this picture, so you can see this was January 2022. But in addition to physically driving around, this virtual D for D is something that has been extremely valuable for people as well. So
yeah, for sure. I know virtual wholesaling is becoming increasingly more popular, and a couple people on my team are virtually wholesaling, and they're really enjoying this feature.
Yeah, especially, and that's something too, like, depends on what's convenient for you. Like for some people, it's harder to get out, during the day and be able to do this. For some people, it'll be just easier to do this, from your couch and multitask or do it at night. We've seen people hire a virtual assistant to help them. We've seen people use this to invest in other markets completely if their market is just too competitive or expensive. So yeah, there's a lot of different use cases for this, but regardless, if you're adding the lead, virtually, if you're doing it in person, either way, that next step in that process is, okay, once you've got this list of leads, click on each individual property. And, when you see that property card pop up, you'll be able to see two options to reach out to them. So you've got skip tracing, which when you were asking about data, this is another area that we put a lot of resources into, is bringing in skip trace data, which we actually pay for a variety of different third-party data sources to be able to show you, phone numbers that pop up from the skip trace, to be able to show you, hey, is this mobile? Is it landline? What's the caller ID? Is it on the do not call list? Is it disconnected? It just gives you more and more options around this particular number. And that way, when you skip trace, the idea of skip tracing is pinging our database, coming back with phone numbers, coming back with email addresses, coming back with any other owner address. And that way you can really readily reach out to them in any of these different ways, whether it be a cold call them direct, shoot them a text, send them an email, any of that is right there at your fingertips, and just one off, hit the skip trace button and it pings you with all that information.
Right.
So you've got skip trace is one option to reach out to people. And then the other side of that is also our mailers. So the start mail button right here, I'll show you this, and you can customize your mail up in this mail tab right here. But going into it, if you hit start mail, you'll see we have about 10 or so preset templates that are literal postcard templates, and you can send direct mail right through DealMachine. So as you see a property, hit start mail, it'll send those mailers right off, where you can see the design right inside the app of what your mail is going to look like. You can customize all of this to change the wording, to change the picture, to change all of that. But the goal is just to make it as easy as possible to be able to send direct mail to them. And, our most successful members, they're doing really a combination of these two things. Like they're going out, they're skip tracing, that particular property, and they can, at that point they can do call, text, email. They can even, you can even leave a flyer on the door or knock on the door or anything like that. We see people do like this kind of quick feedback loop marketing. So that way you reach out to the owner and they quickly, you quickly get on their radar, and they can, you can quickly get their attention and get their, thoughts on possibly selling the property. And then they're combining that with this direct mail. So the direct mail is a long-term nurture where you can just say, hey, send them a piece of mail, every 21 days, or send them a piece of mail, once a month or once every other month or however often. And that way, that combination of things, one, people are going to respond differently to different marketing methods. Like some people are going to respond to a text much quicker than they would a phone call or a piece of mail. Some people will actually, answer the phone, or some people are, going to answer over the mail or get the mail piece. But doing a combination of things like that gives you the best opportunity to get on their radar. And then that mail piece is what you can automate it. So that way you just set it and forget it. You hit that button and say, hey, send one every month. And that way they just get it. And whenever that time is right, even if they may not be a motivated seller now, they may be one in 3 months or 6 months or in a year from now. When that time is right, you're the one that they think of because you have been the one, sending this mail, staying top of mind with them, and are the first one on the mail pile for them, or the one that they put on their fridge or saved in their phone.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome, Matt, because we do know that the more, especially with something like direct mail, the more times you touch them, the more likely they are to, call you actually. And we see that I do direct mail in the masses in addition to using DealMachine. And I know I have to send out, every 5 to 6 weeks for up to a year to get a deal. And I've had that happen, and it's really just in the consistency.
100%. Yeah. The consistency is everything. And really automating that, like even so David, our founder,
automated.
Yeah, like David, our founder, what for him, why he created DealMachine is he would drive around, he'd write down these addresses, it would take him forever, and then he would reach out to them with a piece of mail, and it was a great lead. Like they actually would sell the house a couple months later, but it wasn't to him because he only sent out one postcard.
Right. Yeah.
Couldn't continue to follow up, couldn't automate it, couldn't just set it and forget it. And the more leads you're adding, the more mail you're going to be putting out there, the bigger the campaigns. It's extremely time consuming unless you have a way to automate that process. So really, that's what we built for people. Yeah.
And Matt, when you click that start mail button on mobile, does it immediately shoot a postcard out?
Yeah, it gives you here. Let me show you this here. So it gives you a brief window, like about a 30-minute window, for you to, so that way, say you hit hit it on accident or something, then gives you a little bit of time to be able to recover. So I pause the mail on here. But yeah, you can go in here, you can set that, and then you can really get specific to see like, hey, I want to create a sequence of mail where it sends this letter, then this letter, then this letter, then this letter. Under the mail tab, like I mentioned, we've got a variety of designs here for you. So you can go in here and pick the designs you like or create your own design. You can even do handwritten notes too. So you can do kind of a combination of things here. But, the goal is, hey, start driving around, start adding leads. Those leads go into this list, and then start skip tracing to get in touch with them and sending mail to get in touch with them. Is really, that kind of 2-3 step process is what our most successful investors are doing there.
Gotcha. And DealMachine tracks everyone that they send mail to.
Yep. And then within that as well, if you click on this mail tab, you can see a calendar. So you can click to see, hey, how many mail pieces have I sent this month? How many are in the queue? How much did it cost? I know our mailers, they're about 55 cents per mailer if you're on our starter plan. So you want to budget that to know like, hey, I've got a marketing budget here to send out, this mail. But it'll show you like what's been sent, what's been queued up, what's scheduled, and really help you track what mail is going out for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what I really like about this is that you can use the mail inside DealMachine, and then you can skip trace inside DealMachine as well. And maybe after a few months of sending mailers, you can call them or email them or text them, say, hey, I've been sending you postcards. This is me. I wanted to introduce myself, and, go for the opportunity that way.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. And say, yeah, like call them up and say, hey, did you receive my mailer? I've been trying to get in touch, and kind of, use it as an easy way in that way to start the conversation. One thing I do want to touch on here really quick as well. I know I mentioned driving for dollars as one of our options, and then list builder is the other one. how I really recommend people use the combination or use the either or a combination of them is, one, driving for dollars, like that is going to be the best bang for your buck in terms of the leads that you're getting. Like those are the most high quality leads because no one else, you can't just go in and buy that list. Like you created this list that no one else has.
Yeah.
List builder. And, I will say the driving for dollars leads, because you have to go out and drive, it takes a little bit more time to do that. So it's going to be more focused on the people that have a little more time to work with, but maybe less budget. The other way around is list builder. It's, hey, if you want to come in and just quickly say, hey, show me all of the, all the houses in pre-foreclosure in a particular area and start looking, you can quickly do that. You can hit, build, here we go, start drawing. Well, let me zoom in for you really quick here. You can start drawing around an area, say, okay, show me all the properties so let's see, none in pre-foreclosure there. Let's just do vacant, very broad. Mm-hmm. So you've got 145 vacant leads right within this particular area. And you can just build that list for you right there on the spot and, send mail and start skip tracing right off the bat that way. So this would be like, hey, if you have a little more marketing budget, it's going to take more leads to get to that deal because, these leads are a little bit broader. They're not these, fixer upper properties necessarily, mm-hmm. but you can just do it in, really, really quickly and spend less time to do that. So we want to give people kind of both options on, hey, based on what budget situation they're in, what, how much time they have to work with, and, give them the tools to be able to go out there and start landing deals like that.
Awesome. So we can free drive or we can use the list builder to create this list, but you can also combine the two, right? And throw mm-hmm. this list into the driving and it will pre-route it for you.
Exactly. So love that touch there. I mean, I think
virtual driving, right?
Or virtually, you can do that as well, like you said. But I think, for example, if you open your list here, you can see all the lists that I've pulled before. So here's one example, pull this list, you can hit drive list right here. And that's the most common way that people are using them together is they're hitting drive this list. They pulled it in list builder. They've got it right here. They've got driving for dollars queued up, ready to go. And this one's a massive list, over 200 leads, 32 hours of drive time. So wow. this one you got to break up a little bit more, but you can go in here when you hit drive this list, it'll show you, every single property, the quickest way possible to go from here to here to here to here to here, and give you just the guidance to be able to do that. You can even assign it to other people on your team. So say you're in the DealMachine app and say you have a buddy who wants to get into real estate with you and somebody who would be willing to drive in a certain market. You can actually assign a list for them to drive, or you can just add them to your DealMachine account as a driver and they can just start adding leads for you as well. So, regardless of how you're getting those leads, the goal is like consistently getting out there, being able to consistently add these properties, start reaching out to them, using skip tracing, using mail, and start making these conversations happen, and it'll build, this momentum will build over time, and you'll start landing those off-market properties. So
awesome. Yeah, Matt, you've done a great job giving us an overview of DealMachine. It's really clear how it can be used. We can free drive for dollars and pick out properties ourselves and cherry pick the ones that really look beat up to build that exclusive list, like you say. That's awesome. Or mm-hmm. you can build the list right inside DealMachine and then go drive it. And you can also add to the list too while you're driving. And then you can even take things off the list and just work that until it's perfect for you. And inside DealMachine, you can also skip trace and reach out to the owners directly. So there's a lot of value add in DealMachine. What do you get, Matt, with like when I sign up for DealMachine, what do I get? You mentioned adding drivers. Mm-hmm. I wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, for sure. And I can show you guys here a little bit of detail around exactly what all you can get there. I know on the DealMachine front, we kind of try to give people a couple different options based on their activity level. So like, here we go. So for example, you've got driving for dollars and you've got list builder. That's kind of your two options here. On the driving for dollars side, you're looking at, it'd be $59 a month just for the starter plan. That would be 500 leads per month. So driving around and adding these leads in the map, you can do 500 of those per month, which, depends on the market you're in. But if you're doing that, consistently, I mean, I know for example, in St. Louis, where I'm based out of, you're looking at usually about 300 to 400 leads per deal in terms of the ratio there. So, this right here would be, over a deal a month. If you're going to be doing that, if you're hitting your max every single month, you can, with that plan, you get one person to, owning the DealMachine account, and then one driver as well. So that's somebody that you can go into your DealMachine account, you can click your profile, you can hit team, and then invite somebody by email to be a driver on your account, which just means that they can go around, they can download the app, they can, add properties while they're on the map. They don't market to them because they would be using, your marketing budget to do that, your postcards and skip traces and whatnot, but they can actually go in and start to build that list, with you and for you. So I'm, happy to do a future video on how to build a whole driving team. That's something that we hear people, ask us about pretty often. Mm-hmm. But you can drive there. And then, excuse me, outside of that, you unlock our postcards, you unlock, the handwritten letters if you want to send those, you unlock the skip tracing, and then, the mobile map and the virtual driving for dollars on our starter plan. Pro, the main reason to upgrade there is our route tracking and our list, driving a list right here. So that drive a list feature, that's a pro feature. And the route tracking feature just means that if you're in the map right here and you start driving around, you'll see a green line pop up behind you. And that way, and that's the same for if you have a driver on your account as well, you'll be able to see green lines pop up on the map, and those turn yellow after 6 months and red after a year. And that way you can zoom out, see where you've driven in the city, see where your driver is driven, really coordinate what neighborhoods you want to hit and when to redrive them after it's been 6 months, 6 months plus. So that's really the main differentiator here. And then on our Elite, that's when you're going to really ramp up a driving team. It's essentially unlimited drivers to do the same thing where you're adding a ton of leads per month and doing this at scale. So yeah, again, happy to dig into what a full driving team looks like in the future for you.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Matt, this all makes a lot of sense. Is there anything else we should know about DealMachine? How can we get started?
Yeah, the only other thing to cover briefly is just the list builder option. So it's a little bit cheaper on the professional front, but again, you're gonna get access to being able to pull all that data, look at county records, MLS data, all of that to build your lists like this. Another really good list within that is if you want to look at expired listings on the MLS, you can pull that list right there and mail out to them if they tried to list their house and it failed, and then at that point you're able to say, hey, I'm also another option to sell. But yeah, you've got a couple different options here when it comes to list builder in addition to that. But yeah, I think in general, I know we want to make sure that everyone listening to this was treated really special. If you go to our website and just try DealMachine.com, and we're gonna go through and just sign up for a trial, you wouldn't be getting this. But if you just do DealMachine.com/Vayna, VAYNA, we'll have it so that way anyone using your promo code Vayna, they'll get, I know it'll be about 100 free skip traces, I believe, and about 25 free postcards right there, where that way they can, and also a 7-day free trial. So that way they can start out using DealMachine right away, really start to hit the ground running, and then in addition to that, get a ton of free skip traces, ton of free mailers, 100 free conversations of being able to talk directly to that seller, and start reaching out right away and just give everything for free. So that way you can start to build that momentum, see the path to success there, and make it a no-brainer of like, hey, excited to move on from there and land those deals. So
yeah, absolutely. And because I vouch for so strongly for DealMachine and we started working together, like Matt just said, we get all this free stuff for the people who are following me and using my link. The link will be down in the description below for you guys to check out DealMachine for free for 7 days. Pretty hard to pass up. And then you get free skip traces and mail. So that's really awesome. And you can just try it out and see if you like it. I know, like I said, I've been using DealMachine, I think 10 or 11 months now. I've been sourcing deals with DealMachine, and it's been really great. My whole team's on it, and it just makes things a lot easier. And I know that when you focus on something, whether it's like any type of lead generation source, when you decide to focus on it, and DealMachine makes it really easy to focus solely on the platform, and you just do that for like 90 days and see if you have success with it and try it out, then that's how you know that you can be focusing on one thing and you're using it to its fullest potential. So yeah, that being said, thank you so much, Matt, for coming on and showing us Deal Machine. We'll definitely have you on in the future to explore some other cool tips and tricks with Deal Machine. That link will be down below. And any last words, Matt?
No, just thank you again for having me on. Again, our whole mission is to make it easy to give everyone the power of real estate investing. So I'm really excited to hear from people that, when you do land that first deal, reach out to me directly, just matt@dealmachine.com. And, we'd love to be able to tell your story on our platform as well, and be able to feature you too, and give you some credibility and shine within your local market too. So excited to hear those success stories coming through, and, happy deal finding.
Yeah, there you go. And go and check out Deal Machine's YouTube channel and their Instagram and all their socials. They post a lot of good stuff. I've got an interview with Deal Machine on there about my deals. So yeah, go check that out. But other than that, happy deal finding. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Thanks.
Bye. Sweet.